Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of Sounds Legit, the show where the internet is keen and the knowledge is supreme. Starring yours truly, TX Trom, Saxo Beat,
Hey ya.
The Mute,
Oscar.
Yes.
and Bellhop.
How can I help you?
Let's go. We recently did an interview with the dad of one of our fellow castmates. Who did we do, Julia?
I interviewed my dad about his stand-up career and how it came to be.
Here he is, Mr. Jason Porter. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, this is Bellhop. Today I'm joined by former stand-up comedian Jason Porter, aka my father. Thank you for being here today, Dad.
You're very welcome.
Well, let's get us started. How'd you get into stand-up?
I got into stand-up when I was a child. You know how people will lip sync to records?
Yeah.
They'll get a hairbrush, put it in front of their mouth, and they would lip sync to records, music or whatever, and they'd imagine they're an artist. I used to lip sync to comedy records, where I would memorize the Smothers Brothers, Steve Martin, Bill Cosby, George Carlin, and I would just memorize these, and I would lip sync to them, and I would just over and over and over again. So as a kid, I always wanted to do that, and then in 1988, some friends of mine kind of dared me to take a shot at it when I was 20, and I went to a place called the Comedy Workshop here in Houston, Texas, and got my start. Got my start by doing amateur nights on Sunday nights. Did that for a little while, and then after about 6 months of that, they allowed me to be a regular, which meant that I could go up on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights and Thursday nights and occasionally get a guest spot on the weekend and eventually start to get paid for it a little bit.
Do you have any comedians that inspired you specifically?
Well, the kind of ones I mentioned, Steve Martin has always been extraordinarily original in his thought process. But really, the big comedians that inspired me were the ones at the Comedy Workshop that I worked with a lot. And some of them went on to bigger and better things. Bill Hicks, who was a legendary comedian, who passed away tragically in 1994 at a young age. But Bill Hicks is very much an influence to a lot of people. Janine Garofalo was there. Janine Garofalo is kind of an alternative comic now, but she got her start there. Brett Butler. And there was this group of guys called the Texas Outlaw Comics. The Texas Outlaw Comics were just sort of a different breed and everything, and Sam Kinison came out of that group as well. But yeah, those were the guys who inspired me, because on a daily basis, those were the ones who would take me to the side and say, you might want to add this, you might want to take away this, and they were really the ones that kind of helped me work my way through. They were my inspiration more than anyone else. But of course, you watch Richard Jenney would be another name that would stick out for me too. Richard Lewis as well. Who I got to work with Richard Lewis at the Houston Improv, I want to say 2005, something like that, and that was a really, really big deal. I got to work with Richard Lewis because he was a big inspiration. Okay?
Yep.
Is that it?
Oh, yeah. It's been great talking with you about
It's been a joy.
It's been a joy.
It's been a joy.
Okay. About your stand-up life. Yeah.
I don't think you've never seen a video of me doing stand-up.
I have not.
No, well, you're not going to.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to.
This has been Julia Porter. See you, Wildcats.
So that was Julia Porter, aka Bellhop, interviewing her dad, Jason Porter. Now our next theme. I have a few questions for you guys. Can you name the presidents on Mount Rushmore?
Roosevelt, Lincoln, Jefferson, and Washington.
The only two I know are Roosevelt and Lincoln, like right off the top of my head.
Roosevelt and Lincoln.
Listen, y'all need to go to history for a reason.
Well, I went around Cypress asking people these questions, and here are the top answers for them. Here is Man on the Street, Cypress Edition. What's going on? This is TH Trom, and I have a few questions to ask you guys. Name the presidents of Mount Rushmore. How many months have 28 days? I have asked many people these questions, and now let's see. They're very real answers. Name the presidents on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, jeez. Washington, Roosevelt, Lincoln,
and Hoover. I don't know.
Lincoln, Roosevelt, it's been a while. Washington, and Hamilton? No. Hold on. Jackson. Right? I don't remember.
Jefferson.
Oh, Jefferson, I knew that. I haven't thought about that in like years.
George Washington,
Abraham.
Abraham Lincoln. I got this, Tom. Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson. Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
See, you don't learn this. You don't learn this in AP US history. You know, they teach you about all the stuff you don't
learn to
need.
compare and contrast 5 different Chinese dynasties.
Right, but this is stuff you don't learn.
Who's on Mount Rushmore?
When I was 6 years old, my sister was half my age. I'm now 70 years old. How old is my sister?
67.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna have.
35. She was half your age when you were
Yeah, yeah. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 70 minus 3 is 67.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
How many terms did Benjamin Franklin serve as president?
He wasn't a president.
Which president, or who again?
Benjamin Franklin.
He didn't even serve as president.
Yes.
Alright, so I got one right.
How'd you guys like that? Did you guys think it was hilarious?
Well, I'm concerned for everything all of a sudden.
It concerns me a little, but then again, I couldn't either. So, you know.
Well, at least they got some of them right. I mean,
That's true. That's true. You gotta give him that.
Half credit. There's a reason America's not #1 in school education.
so what do we have next? Zoe, I heard you did research on artificial intelligence. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I have an article here explaining it. Here it is. Yeesh.
Here is Zoe Garcia reading her AI article.
Well, I hope you all are ready for our robot overlords because based on what's been happening in the technology side of science, they're on their way. According to the Internet Magazine article on Science News, the magazine of the Society for Science and the Public, the artificial intelligence dubbed AlphaGo just leveled up. While the previous version of AI, dubbed AlphaGo Li, had to study millions of examples of human moves in a complex Chinese board game before playing practice games against itself, the new version of AlphaGo Zero trained solely through self-play and after only 3 days defeated AlphaGo Li in a match. Actually, it beat it 100-0. And get this, while it took only Zero 3 days to beat Li, Li had to train for several months before it could beat a human champion. Anyways, I gotta go prepare for our new overlords. Adios, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for your time and be sure to tune in next week.
Follow us on Twitter at CWHS_CDubMedia.
That's been Sounds Legit.
Laters.